Hi dear learners, once again you are welcome to GCL Tutorials. I'm pleased to be here with you with another interesting lesson. I believe you are doing so well over there, and I'm glad to come your way with another interesting lesson. I want you to take your notebook and pen and pencils or jotters and be ready for this particular interesting lesson. Now I'm bringing you something that has to do with our social life, okay? Everybody believes that we live in a society where we share common values, norms, attitudes. We have people that have a certain form of occupation. People are fisher folk, some are farmers, and so on and so forth. Now, as time passes, we have people transferring these values or occupation, or the things they do, the things they say, the things they believe in, the kind of things that shape the society. They transmit or transfer them into the next generation. Now, the term used for that is socialization. So in this lesson, I'm going to talk about socialization, its types, and then how we are able to acquire or transmit or transfer, where exactly or who is responsible for this transfer or transmission. We will look deep into this, so take a deep breath and don't be pushed away at all. You understand this further. It looks quite a big word, but it is not any big word. Socialization has to do with what? The transfer of values, the transfer of culture, okay, entirely, the way of life from one generation to another generation. Now we see this happening in our homes. Everybody comes from a home and we have a certain background or a certain culture. Therefore, we expect that no matter where you are coming from, even when you are in a school, we believe that you came from a home, and for that matter, certain values that your parents had or still hold onto, those judgments, they are being transferred onto you. So they tell you what to do and they teach you the right way to go. You learn a lot of things too when you step out of your home, and then you are able to acquire knowledge too from every part or sphere of life or the community. When you enter your religious centers, that is what happens over there. So it's like socialization, we can use the term intergenerational, okay? Intergenerational. So we have an older generation being able to connect with the new generation or the next generation through the transfer of values. So we have older generation, and then they are connecting with the new generation, okay? So when we have these things happening, then we say socialization is taking place. Socialization is taking place. Now, we will look at the types of socialization. Socialization has types. So we'll go into that and see what are these types. Now, these types of socialization, I've put them together in a nice or interesting acronym that I've crafted. So I have P, R, A, and D. Proud. So you can use this to actually summarize the types of socialization. The P, socialization, has to do with the primary form of socialization. The primary form of socialization. Primary. So the P stands for primary form of or type of socialization. Now, what the primary type of socialization does is that it's the type of socialization that we acquire or occurs at the early stages of life, and this takes place in our family, our home. You hear the saying that charity begins at home. So you see a lot of children learning so many things from their parents, okay? So your immediate home, wherever you are born in, that is where you start learning certain practices. So a child is being taught how to sweep, how to clean or do the dishes, how to wear clothes, how to take his or a bath, how to greet elders, and what to do when visitors are around. They are the values that children acquire or obtain at home. So that form what we call the primary type of socialization. Okay, now the next type of socialization, that's the first R. So I'll put it this way. We call that one Resocialization. So resocialization. Re simply means again. Now, what is it that is occurring again? Now, for something to occur again, it simply means that there had been an existing one and a new one is now occurring or being obtained. So this type of socialization, resocialization, has to do with the acquisition of new knowledge. No matter what you do, you are going to leave your home and you enter a different place. You get to a different environment. When you get to such environment, there are new ideas or new attitudes or values that you are going to acquire. When you acquire them and you add them to the old one, okay, it becomes, and sometimes people tend to abandon the old ones in the moment they find themselves in the new environment and they start learning new things. Okay, so the new things that you acquire, the new knowledge you acquire or attitude or values become the re-socialization process or type. Okay, so it's simple. Here you have the basic form of socialization, that's a P. The first R has to do with re-socialization, a new form of socialization that changes the attitude or the values of the individual. Now we get to the second R. Take note, you know the difference between the first R and the second R. Okay, here we call this reverse. The reverse form of socialization. The reverse form of socialization. So the normal course or the normal transmission is to be that an older generation transmits or transfers knowledge or attitudes, values to the new generation. But the reverse had to be something that is against the normal course, in the sense that in this case, the children rather, or the new generation rather, or younger generation are now transmitting what they have learned back to the older generation. I'm sure you find that quite interesting, but you have been doing this. So as learners, you know, when you, these days there are lots of smartphones. Let me give that example. You have a lot of smartphones in the system. You teaching your dad how to open an app or install an app on your phone or on daddy's phone is a form of what? Reverse socialization. So you are now teaching your dad how to use the phone or something on the phone. We have children telling their moms or trying to direct their mom on how to use the remote of the television set. That is reverse form of socialization. I think this is also interesting. So when we find a lot of children or the new generation or people that will be coming after us showing us new things or teaching the older generation new things, we call or term that reverse socialization. Yes. Okay, now the A has to do with what we call anticipatory socialization. Anticipatory socialization, from the word anticipate. So you are expecting something to happen. Now, in this form of socialization, that is the anticipatory, what the older generation is expecting from the children is that as the values, the norms, and the attitudes are being transferred, the way of life, the culture is being transferred, the older generation is expecting that the new generation will become something in future. So for instance, there are parents who determine courses that their children should study, okay, in the university, or courses that they should select in the colleges, the senior high school. So you choose a science course. Maybe your parent, your mom is an accountant, daddy is a doctor. So daddy wants you to toe the science line, okay, and do more of the science. Maybe mommy too wants you to do the banking course or the business side of course. Then you have to be inculcated with that knowledge. They will instill the values, the things you have to do to acquire those knowledge, and then you'll be able to become a doctor in future. You'll be able to become a lawyer in future. You'll be able to become, so as they expect, they anticipate that you become something in future, something they already know. They are transmitting the basics in you, the basics in you. So when you are undergoing that kind of training or that system, then we say you are going through anticipatory socialization. I think that one is very, very clear. The last but not the least, the D type of socialization, that is developmental socialization. Development socialization. Now, what this has to do with that? It has something a bit to do with the anticipatory, but this time around, this one had to do with a skill that the child or the younger generation already have, okay? Something you already has, and you are building on that skill, okay? Or you are doing something to sharpen that skill. So when you find a child, for instance, we find a child playing with clay, okay, and molding them, then we know that child is possessed with a certain skill. Somebody can identify it and say, okay, this child could become a builder, okay, an engineer, a contractor, okay, somebody who can be an expert in the construction of roads and buildings. When this form of knowledge is being identified and the child is being shaped to improve on that skill, then we say developmental socialization is taking place. Developmental socialization is taking place. So take another example where we find a child fixing parts of these cars, okay, he has toy cars and he's able to dismantle them and fix them. Then they can let that child develop that skill, okay. A child who does more singing and rap can also be made to develop that skill, okay, and the values that are related to that particular skill, or the attitude or the knowledge related to that particular skill will be instilled or sharpened or improved upon, and that child can now have what we call or go through what we call developmental socialization. So you are getting the whole concept of socialization. We've looked at the meaning, the definition, and then we've seen the types. That is the PRRAD, the PRAD. Okay, so I have what we call the agents. We have what we call the agents, and then we have the agencies. We have the agents and the agencies, okay? So with the agents and the agencies refer to the people, okay? The people who transmit the knowledge, the people who transmit the attitude, the values, the judgments, the whatever you need to undergo the various types of socialization. So if we take parents, for instance, you remember primary socialization, where everything starts with the home that you are born in. Then it means that we can relate this to an agency. So the agents refer to the people, okay, the people responsible for the socialization, and the agencies are the places or the institutions responsible, or where the socialization is acquired. So we can say this: if parents are the agents, or one of the agents, then who become one of the agencies? The home becomes one of the agencies. I think that is clear. So we have this Then we can talk about the religious leaders. Religious leaders. Religious leaders. Religious leaders. If we have religious leaders, then the agency is going to be the churches, the shrine, and the mosque. So we have the religious leaders over there as agents, transmitting the values and the knowledge and whatever we need to become what we have to become, as far as the older generation and the new generation are concerned. Okay. Now we can also talk about opinion leaders. Opinion leaders. Such people, we find them. They can be on the media, various media platform. So opinion leaders can be an agent or can be agents. And then we can also talk about the mass media as an agency. The mass media as an agency. Okay. So we know about that one too. Teachers as agents of socialization. Then the agency is going to be the school. So you are in school and you are learning a lot from your teachers. There are rules and regulations in the various schools that when you go, you have to adhere to. So they make sure that the rules shape you to become what you have to become in the future. Okay, so we have teachers and then we have the schools. We can go on and on and on and give several examples. So wherever you acquire such knowledge and attitude can be termed agencies of socialization. And whoever is responsible or is in that agency and is trying to do or make effort, the conscious effort to instill that attitude or discipline or knowledge in you becomes the agent of socialization. All these people are very important in our society. Therefore, we have to take them very, very seriously. So it is very important that anytime we step out there, we learn and we learn and we will continue to learn until you cease your breath on this earth. So socialization actually begins from birth, to death. From birth to death. It's a process. Gradually, you are being shaped and you are in that process to become what you have to become. So I believe this lesson has taught you a lot and you'll be conscious about wherever you go as an individual, who is undergoing socialization. No matter where you find yourself, no matter your age, you belong to a generation. And whatever you are learning from the past has a lot of influence on you. Continue to acquire the positive one, and that is the advice I'll give to my learners out there. Learn and acquire, know how to sieve the odd from the good ones and the ones that will shape you to become positive change effectors in the society. People who will produce solutions or create solutions, not problems, in our society from whatever you've learned from the older generation. Probably, yes, there are some things that happened in the past or the older generation might have passed on to us that we are not in tune with or cannot help our lives. What do? We have to modify them and then improve on them so that our next generation will also obtain something better from us. Then we leave a legacy. We continue to have our stories being told to the newer or fresher generation. This is JCL Tutorials, and I believe you have enjoyed this particular lesson on socialization and its type. I'll be coming your way with more interesting lessons. Don't change this channel. Always be here and make sure you subscribe, like, and share with other friends out there. I'll meet you again. For now, I say bye.